plans its response to Iran's ballistic missile attack. World leaders are calling for restraint. Not everyone agrees, however. Some Iranian citizens are openly calling for Israel to take action against their own brutal regime. George Thomas has the story.
Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi is urging Iran's Middle East neighbors to stand against Tehran's influence, help support Israel's war efforts, and bring down the dictatorship.
The regime in Tehran is responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of innocents, Iranians, Arabs, and Israelis, Christians, Muslims, and Jews.
Pahlavi, the son of Iran's last Shah, went on social media saying most Iranians want to see their own oppressive government removed.
So I say to you, our friends across the Middle East, our region deserves so much better. But in order to succeed, first, this regime that has held us hostage for nearly half a century must go.
While some Iranians have supported military action against Israel,
if Israel reacts to Iran's action, Iran will respond again and completely crush Israel.
Pahlavi claims the majority of his countrymen would welcome targeted action against the regime. He tells Iranians the real enemy is their own government, led by Ali Khamenei.
The tyrant in Tehran couches his warmongering in Iranian nationalism, but he does not speak for our nation. The crimes his regime has committed against you, our neighbors, are an affront to Iranians and our values.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu recently expressed hope for peace between his country and Iran, suggesting that a future free Iran could lead to a new relationship between the two nations.
When Iran is finally free, and that moment will come a lot sooner than people think, everything will be different. Our two ancient peoples, the Jewish people and the Persian people, will finally be at peace. Our two countries, Israel and Iran, will be at peace.
Transform Iran brings the transformative power of the gospel to every corner of Iran.
Lana runs Transform Iran, a ministry that operates inside the country, sharing the message of the gospel. She says recent uprisings against the regime demonstrate that Iranians want political change like never before, even to the point of dying for it.
It's a tough fight. They're willing to fight it. They're willing to pay whatever it takes to take down their government. We've seen Iranian people take to social media and invite Israel to attack them on their own soil.
Videos from Iran showed people singing and dancing following Hassan Nasrallah's assassination. Silk adds that most Iranians do not share the government's animosity toward Israel. Since taking power 45 years ago, the regime's clerics have labeled the United States as the Great Satan and Israel as the Little Satan.
I was brought up in the country and I was conditioned to hate Israel and America. As a schoolgirl, we had to wake up every morning and chant death to America, death to Israel. All our teaching, our education, all the propaganda and the news on the walls, everything was set up to have us hate these two countries. And yet we don't. No matter how hard the government tries, they cannot turn their people against these countries.
During an interview with CBN News, Pahlavi said despite Iran's ongoing violations of religious freedom, people are turning to faith, especially Christianity, like never before.
Discrimination started against religious minorities. The Jews were the first, followed by the Baha'is. Lately, it's been mostly the Christians that are targeted. Iran has probably right now the fastest growing faith in Christianity than any other faith that the country has had. We have hundreds of underground churches.
Silk says the potential for war is driving a sense of urgency among underground Christians in Iran to share their faith.
We're talking about war. We're talking about really unimaginable suffering coming to Iran shortly. So there is a sense of we better be quick to make sure all the people that we love know who Jesus is and what he's done for them before it's too late for them.
George Thomas, CBN News.
Thank you, George. Incredible. A regime so oppressive that many of its very citizens are welcoming a targeted attack against their own government. You heard Miss Silk say as a child she was forced to chant death to America death to Israel. But one thing we're learning and being reminded of is it's not the people of Iran that are evil. It's not the people, the citizens. It's the regime. So keep that nation in prayer.